After 42 years of tyrannical rule, Colonel Gaddafi is dead. World leaders marked the moment.
I think today is a day to remember all of Colonel Gaddafi's victims.
But one of Gaddafi's most ruthless henchmen is still on the run. We track him down to his 5-star hideaway in the sun.
How many people are you responsible for torturing, Mr. Kusa? Over the years.
Moussa Koussa helped prop up the Gaddafi regime for 4 decades, but he was also Britain's secret friend. Tonight, how we colluded with him to kidnap Gaddafi's opponents around the world, whilst he was organising torture and even inflicting abuse himself.
While I was being questioned, Moussa Koussa was shocking me in my neck with the electric rod.
And for the first time, the secret torture tapes, incontrovertible proof of Gaddafi's crimes against humanity. Five-star luxury at a hotel in Qatar. Among the international businessmen and the jet-setting playboys is this man, Moussa Koussa. He was one of Colonel Gaddafi's inner circle, a ruthless spy chief trusted with the security of the country and stamping out dissent. He's now on the run. But what's intriguing is that when he fled Libya at the start of the uprising, he chose to defect to Britain.
Moussa Koussa is still being questioned at a secret location tonight and is said to be in a very fragile state of mind.
His resignation shows that Gaddafi's regime is fragmented, under pressure, and crumbling from within.
Moussa Koussa was at the heart of Gaddafi's regime. It's long been said he was involved with the Lockerbie bombing. He should also know who was responsible for the shooting of policewoman Yvonne Fletcher outside the Libyan embassy in 1984. So his defection here in March was an opportunity to get to the truth.
Moussa Koussa is responsible for the death of 270 innocent civilians, as well as thousands of his own people as part of the Gaddafi regime. No matter what he says now, he has to be held accountable for my brother's death and the death of thousands of others.
Now, with Gaddafi dead, Moussa Koussa is the guardian of many of Libya's secrets. So why, with little explanation, did Britain let him go? Now free, Libya is still surrendering its secrets. For 4 decades, it was closed to the world. In recent years, we saw only a reformed clown, a fading tyrant with pantomime policies, sitting on a lake of oil. But beneath the organised pro-Gaddafi parties, this was a nation terrorised by secret police, where neighbour informed on neighbour. Now, those he once targeted are the ones in charge. In Tripoli 4 weeks ago, I was invited out with a snatch team whose job it was to capture remnants of the former regime. They were hunting 25 of Gaddafi's armed supporters, hiding out in a dangerous part of town called Abu Salim.
These are the very people who, up until a few weeks ago, were being rounded up and captured by Gaddafi regime loyalists, and now they're the ones doing the hunting.
An informant had already told them their quarry would fight to the death. Then, incoming fire. These buildings are dangerous because they're the hiding place for torturers and guards, people who once worked in Libya's most notorious political prison just around the corner. It's in the south of Tripoli, and it's where Gaddafi used to dump his political opponents, real and imagined.
Nearly everybody you speak to in Libya has some kind of dark story about what happened to a friend or a relative behind these walls. This is Abu Salim prison, and it's a symbol, really, of the unbridled brutality of Gaddafi's regime. When Tripoli fell, the inmates of Abu Salim began freeing themselves. They hacked open cell doors with anything they could find. You can see the desperate faces of people who'd been locked away here for up to 30 years. One of them was this man, Sami al-Sadi. Yeah, get your bearings.
This is my cell.
This was it?
From 2007.
Sami was brought here for being the deputy leader of a fighting group intent on assassinating Gaddafi. He was hauled in front of a kangaroo court and sentenced the same day.
This is the red uniform for execution uniform. It has the same color of the blood and indicates that this person will be killed.
And this is the uniform that you wore whilst you were...
Yeah, they were very happy when they gave me this.
Were they?
uniform.
How do you know they were happy? Were they smiling?
Yeah, smiling and joking and yeah.
Whilst on death row, Sami was interrogated and tortured. But the remarkable thing is, it was the UK which helped send him here, into the hands of Musa Kusa, who then ran Libya's intelligence service. Musa Kusa once lived in London. In 1980, he was the Libyan ambassador. But he was expelled for backing a plan to murder two of Gaddafi's opponents living in the UK. His official role for more than a decade was Libya's chief of spies. After Tripoli fell, his old offices were abandoned and torched, but some documents survived. They exposed Libya's secret relationship with the UK in a series of letters between Musa Kusa and MI6.
These documents are absolutely extraordinary. They show the real detail of the secret relationship between Britain and America and Gaddafi's police state. And what really is amazing is the tone of them, the friendliness. They're cosy and smug at some stages. And I guess the people who wrote them just thought they would never see the light of day.
They show one senior MI6 officer looking forward to lunch with Musa Kusa over Christmas and signing off the letter, "Your friend, Mark." But that's not all. The documents show British spies were engaged in something far more sinister, something illegal. The letters show that our secret services colluded with Musa Kusa to kidnap or render Sami al-Sadi and others. They were Gaddafi's political opponents living abroad. And at the height of the war on terror, Britain considered them terrorists. In fact, back in the 90s, Sami had lived in London. He'd been given political asylum.
I used to go to market, John Lewis, Big Save, Safeway, Sainsbury.
But after he left, MI6 became suspicious about his Islamist connections. They helped arrange for him to be snatched from an airport in the Far East and returned to Libya and Musa Kusa. Sami and his wife were hooded and bundled onto a plane with their 4 young children.
They put black plastic on our faces, me and my wife. Later on, my wife said to me, I thought that they will execute us.
In the very same week we handed Sami over in 2004, Tony Blair arrived to meet with Gaddafi in the desert. He was our new ally in the war against terror.
You're looking well. Something famous evening, actually.
In the background, our friend Moussa Koussa. As Blair enjoyed the hospitality, Koussa found time to slip away for a chat with the newly imprisoned Sami.
He said to me, Sami, now I can pick up the phone and speak to MI6. They cooperate with us against you and told us about the more recent information about you and helped us to arrest you.
Other documents show just how close the relationship was becoming. In one, a senior MI6 officer said the rendition of a Gaddafi opponent was the least we can do for you, and described the prisoner simply as cargo. But how was that cargo, which we'd helped deliver, treated once it arrived in Abu Salim prison?
Libya was giving reassurances that after rendition, none of these prisoners would face any harm. But what were those reassurances really worth? We were dealing with a secretive police state notorious for torturing and even murdering its political opponents. And yet we were sending people back here on trust.
Earlier this month, I was out with the raid team again in Tripoli. They thought they'd found another part of Libya's former spy network, a local security office.
This is the scene that meets them when they're not even looking for people to arrest. This is when they're trying to find stashes of secret documents that are still emerging around Tripoli.
Inside, mobile prisons used to house captured opponents. And shelves of intelligence used to incriminate them. But elsewhere, they found something more chilling. Among the team today, a man who was himself an inmate at Abu Salim prison. He was tortured with electric shocks. Some of the equipment they've seized is sickeningly familiar to him.
This is an electric rod which they started torturing me with from the first day. Torture was by pressing it on my chest. They used the electric rod here on my chest. And then I kept saying, I don't know anything, I don't know anything.
Panorama has now discovered evidence which supports his claims. The regime that we were doing secret deals with was filming its torture. The evidence comes from the burnt-out ruins of Abu Salim prison itself.
Amongst the debris, some crucial evidence did survive. Panorama's acquired hours of footage which shows the truth about how this regime treated some of its political opponents. It's chilling stuff, much of it far too gruesome to broadcast, but we can show you some.
This was filmed in May this year, a prisoner blindfolded and waiting. The instrument being used is similar to the one Adele from the raid team showed us. The man in the suit is from something called the Interrogation Committee. In the 1980s, Moussa Koussa was said to be its director. This footage was a small fraction of what we found. There are more whippings, electric shocks,